So you're ready to live life in a much more easeful way. No more pushing, no more forcing, no more persistent frustration. And I love that for you. The beauty is you were literally equipped and born to live life in a thriving way, your way. And in this message today, you and we're going to connect on some rememberings and perspectives that are going to help you live in that much more flow in your life right now. Now, I'm Danielle Lynn, and I connect to the rad cats, such as yourself. And along our specific message today, I want to invite you to consider something that deeply matters to you. Consider something that maybe you've been wrestling with for a while. And I want to invite you to bring it through our discussion today. Because I don't believe that you must fight or resist a moment longer than you choose to. Because you are just that powerful of a creator. Now, one of the first steps here that I'm going to invite you and myself to take is to give ourselves some permission to receive a little grace. Grace for any of the choices we've made up until this point. One of the challenges I've seen people get stuck on when they start to realize how easy and flowing it can be is how hard they had appeared to make it on themselves up until that point. In fact, that's sometimes one of the reasons why people don't shift into more flow is because they almost feel like, what was the point of all my challenge or suffering if I could have had it in a more fluid state at this point? If there was a different experience to have in that moment, you would have chosen differently. All that matters, truly, is here and now. And I mean that literally. All that matters is right here and right now. And right here and right now is the place from which you can make all your choices from here. It's the place where all your power is. Right now, if you were to just take a breath in and just perceive yourself in this space that you're in, watching this video, having you and I connect, you can remember in this moment, nothing in your head, none of the stories in your head are real beyond the power, intention, and the influence that you give them. So understanding that, you can first off see just how powerful you are, but second, you can see that in this now moment, you can choose to start being curious with what could be possible for you. Because all of our choices are really leading us down the path of experiments in our lives. Something that we maybe on a deep level understand, but not always register at a conscious level about shifts and making choices, is whenever you do, inherently something about your present reality is going to alter forever. So now let's bring up this thing once again that you want to bring more flow into. Now, if you like, I'm going to invite you to engage your heart, gut, mind. Now, if you're not sure how to do that, I have a video on how to do saying it right. Heart, gut, mind coherence. So I can link that in the description. Bring into your mind's eye this thing that you're ready to have more flow in. And what you get to do is you get to ask your inner self, what is the now step? But what you're going to do is you're not going to stress out or force an answer. What you're going to do is you are going to sit in the knowing that the answer emerges. And here's where you're so powerful, my friend. You already have the answer. What you are doing is you are giving yourself permission to hear it loud and clear. You are not required to wait for something to show you the answer. It is like you are allowing for yourself to activate, give yourself the permission to receive the answer. As you allow yourself to receive the answer, and you will receive an answer, you just connect with that and choose that, then live that over anything else in your life. Then the next answer is to take the embodied step. Now, at that point, you might have realizations of fears or pauses or trepidations that are present. In fact, much of the time, if there is a pause, it is because on some level, our subconscious is attempting to shield the answer for us or from us, because maybe there's a part, as mentioned, that is in fear or doesn't feel capable. And what happens is, by bringing the clarity in, it may feel a little uncomfortable at first. It may even feel confronting at first, because you're taking a pretty direct look at what the actual nature of the story is that may have been keeping this whole vision in place. And this is not the moment to be upset with yourself. That's actually a way, it's a very subversive way that a part of ourselves prevents ourselves from taking action. It's like, oh, I've discovered what I've been doing wrong. Oh, how terrible, how terrible. And all it's doing is just delaying it again. It's just like another sneaky method of not moving forward. And if you can allow yourself to be present with any discomfort or any stories that come up without attempting to fix them, change them, or force them, you're actually cultivating the space necessary for you to make a completely new shift than what you have done before. Do you see what I mean? The more that you apply this kind of pattern of being real with yourself, the more naturally it happens. It's less of a stop, go, step by step process. And it's more of a fluid momentum that starts taking place in your life. You naturally experience when there's some kind of resistance or distortion present. You're naturally like, oh, I wonder what's going on. Let's tune in to the counsel. And then you're breathing, you're connecting, then you're curious, then you're seeing, then you're choosing, then you're being, then you're embodying, and then you're moving. You see, it all actually takes place in a flow. And the points of resistance are just us being in resistance to our own energy. It's always us being, any resistance is always us pushing against our own energy ultimately. Which is why you always have the power to shift it from within. Which is why it doesn't really matter what's going on outside. What matters is your response or not response to what is going on. And as you continue to master that through your choices, through your focuses, through your responses or not responding, then you find it easier and easier and easier to navigate life, because then you're not consciously or unconsciously resisting or avoiding experiences that in the past might have inspired pauses or shutdowns or spirals, because now you know how to meet them. You know how to meet the unknown. You know how to meet challenges. You know how to meet resistance or discomfort. You know how to meet all these things. And it's no longer intimidating. And then what this also does is that it also generates this sense of self-trust, a self-confidence that is rooted in self-knowing, not in a performative way of being, but in a deep, deep sense of true inner self-coherence, because you are being coherent with yourself. Okay? You are being deeply interconnected with what matters to you, and being willing to face that with curiosity, and then being willing to take the practical steps on it. And something to understand as well is that a big part of maturing in this life is realizing that mistakes aren't something that's bad or an indicator that you're doing something wrong. It's just an indicator that you're willing to live. It's an indicator that you're willing to take leaps and bets on yourself. It's an indicator that you're willing to advocate for your own energy and for the presence that is alive in your field. And that's the thing, where we feel the sorrow or the rage or all these things. It's the life force, the very source force within ourselves that is crying out to be expressed as it is, because it is capable. You are capable of living the version of your let's say your dream vision or what's alive in you. But maybe it will take cracking a few eggs. Maybe it will take making 2, 5, 3, 10 wrong turns wrong until you meet somewhere. But this is where, once again, the resilience and the playfulness comes in. This is where being willing to meet yourself on the field of life again and again comes in. And understanding that every step you are taking is adding to the tapestry of your journey. And then when you have that attitude towards it, you're once again engaging more in the spirit of flow. You're not making it about just one end outcome. You're realizing that the whole pattern is the weaving. The whole steps of the journey is the journey. And in giving yourself that permission, you can find more and more the deep satisfaction, the marrow of life. Please observe how you're choosing to live consistently, because this will give you the hints you need in order to see where to place your focus, where to release and let go, and what steps to take now. My friend, this has been a wonderful exploration into flow together. If you want to go deeper with this, I invite you to check out my flow book. It's in the description link. And you might also feel inspired to check out the Self Alchemy Lab, where we do flow-based experiments together. You will also be interested, once you get the flow book, in the newsletter, which will have some announcements. And please remember, flow is a journey through our whole lives. It's not about reaching an objective. It is a refining and opportunity for you to experience the enjoyment of yourself in all the different shapes and forms that you experience along the way. You got this, my friend.